How's it going, everybody? Buckshot Roulette here. So today I thought that I would continue this trend of making fun of anti-woke losers by taking a look at something that I've already taken a look at on stream, as I usually end up doing, to be completely honest. And of course, you've already seen the title, you've already seen the thumbnail. It's a video from Ask Air titled, "Modern Cartoon Reboots Are Unfaithful Trash." And to put it very simply, you know that a video is unbelievably bad when the like bar to the video is like barely larger than the average anti-woke loser's penis, but on top of that too, the actual fucking tweet announcing this has not only been community noted, but is now also being protected by the fucking guy who posted this because he kept on getting ratioed by every single person with a fully functioning brain. Like, it is ridiculous just how poorly received this video already was before I even knew of its existence. And I know I'm a little bit late to even making a video about this one, largely because I've already done a stream segment on it, but the thing is that this video was so unbelievably bad that it also caused like another content creator by the name of Manga Common to break like his 2 cardinal rules for his own channel, which is just unbelievably rich. And on top of that too, apparently this video that at least we're going to be taking a look at here has an entire segment of it that is completely cut out of it for whatever reason. I can only fucking imagine why, but I think you'll understand what I mean by that when we actually get into the video. I've already spent way too much time kind of dancing around it, so let's just get started here.
So the other day I had an epiphany. I was scrolling mindlessly through my phone as one does, and I came across this monstrosity, the Fairly OddParents reboot, and it was just as bad as I expected it to be.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Mindless drivel plot lines, flashy art style, and an overt unfaithfulness to the source material.
Okay, well, there's already so much that I need to unpack here. First things first, and this is something that I already pointed out on stream, but like, why is the quality of like whatever artwork that he's using for his character stills constantly fluctuating between each individual frame? It is fucking jarring as hell. But on top of that too, I feel like I might as well just kind of mention this here. Unfaithfulness to the source material, as well as, you know, him calling this a reboot, just inherently already making shit up. Because the thing is that from the research that I've done when it comes to the whole Fairly OddParents: A New Wish, it's not really a reboot, it's actually more of a sequel to the entire original Fairly OddParents. In fact, Timmy Turner is still stated to actually exist within the actual in-canon universe of A New Wish, but it's not really a reboot, it's more of a sequel, so there you go. And in terms of unfaithfulness to the source material, once again, this is a sequel. Of course, there's still going to be faithfulness to the source material, the only difference is probably just the art style and the new protagonist and whatnot. And should I also mention, on top of that too, Butch Hartman, the quality of the Fairly OddParents basically fell off alongside with Butch Hartman's fucking mental quality, to put it very simply. Like, Butch Hartman started promoting like scams and whatnot, became a piece of garbage around the same time in which, you know, Fairly OddParents started to drop off immensely in quality. So I think it's probably for the best that they maybe didn't really have Butch Hartman have too much of a hand in the creation of this one, because I could only imagine just how bad it would have been. After all, I'm pretty sure if Butch Hartman were to have discovered that the new main character is a person of color, I could only imagine that it would probably be something akin to America in the early 1800s.
And I realized, these phenomena are not unique to the Fairly OddParents. These symptoms carry on to many remakes and reboots that have sprouted from Hollywood in the last few years, whether it's animated or live action, movie or TV show. And if this were just a one-off thing in media, I probably wouldn't be making this video, but this is a repeated cancer that is spreading to more and more properties, and is only destructive in nature. And so I gotta take the mantle and expose just what makes these properties so inherently bad.
Yeah, I really wonder how you're going to try and elaborate on this one, especially since you're quite literally pulling up Velma as like one of your biggest examples here, which, mind you, literally everybody on every side agrees that's complete garbage. It's both a good and a bad example of like this blight that you're apparently trying to bring up here. Also, once again, the fucking art style changed again. Please remain consistent.
Go.
I will take shitty intro for 500. I'd rather just gouge my fucking eyes out rather than see this fuck-ass intro ever again.
It was originally the Fairly OddParents Trash Reboot #1 that inspired me to make this video, but now they went and made another one. And when it's animated, that's where I draw the line. I'm old enough to remember back in Yale 2016 when everyone was trashing the new reboot at the time, Teen Titans Go. Then it was the Powerpuff Girls, Ben 10 reboot, Rise of TMNT, the list goes on. No one really respects reboots as an inherent property, especially in the manner that they're handled in our modern era.
What I find extremely funny here is that he provides, like, very little actual sources to back up most of his claims right here. Like, here's the thing, I'm not exactly, like, a big fan of, like, Teen Titans Go either. In fact, I genuinely believe that the creation of Teen Titans Go is what ultimately led to the entire downfall of Cartoon Network in the first place. I just don't really understand what his point in this entire video is actually going to be, just from, like, the first, like, minute. We are 1 minute in, and he has failed to actually bring up a solid point.
It's almost a safe opinion these days to say, ooh, Hollywood unoriginal, Hollywood bad. But when you take a deeper look at it, you realize it's not just about the unoriginality. These Disney reboots do more than just rip off the original for monetary gain. No, no, no. They actively disrespect the source material while they do it.
I really just have to ask, how is it exactly disrespecting the source material? Like, I don't understand what this point actually is supposed to be. Disrespecting the source material. What, are we supposed to dig up the fucking graves of whoever in the actual fuck actually, you know, made the original stories behind, like, fucking Ariel and shit like that? Are we supposed to be doing that just so that way we can consult them and say, hey, do you find this as like an okay thing if we decide to cast, like, you know, somebody else, you know, for this live-action remake that we probably put very little thought into?
This Teen Titans Go syndrome has only gotten worse nowadays, because instead of just telling unfunny stories, modern reboots, especially in the animated realm, aim to purposely disrespect the original vision. Starting off with the fact that the original creators don't want this kind of stuff, almost ever. We've all heard of how Steven Hillenburg never really wanted to reboot of SpongeBob.
Now, here's a thing I do in fact want to correct from my livestream coverage of this one, and that is this. The entire thing of Steven Hillenburg not wanting, you know, any kinds of spin-offs or anything like that was a complete misunderstanding that was just taken and run with by every single fucking dumb fuck out there, including this guy. Apparently, Steven Hillenburg actually just simply stated that he didn't really see any kinds of, like, spin-offs ever really happening, and for some reason it just so happened to be a very weird coincidence that soon after Steven Hillenburg's death, that was when Nickelodeon decided to pick up and go like, okay, let's just make some spin-offs and whatnot. And, you know, that's just kind of what happened. Obviously, the timing and whatnot probably, you know, didn't exactly help Nickelodeon's case all too much whenever they decided to start making spin-offs and shit like that. Of course, you know, to kind of clear the air here, it was all started due to a misunderstanding of what the fuck Steven actually said.
When a reboot is properly won by the creators, it usually does quite well, and actually delivers true to the vision.
You do realize that whenever it comes to any kind of reboot, or any kind of remake of any existing IP, they usually have to consult with, you know, the IP's owner. I don't think they're allowed to just, like, you know, go out of their way to just suddenly make a remake or anything like that without telling anybody. Like, obviously, whenever it comes to, you know, something like Teen Titans or anything along those lines, they would have to consult fucking DC and basically go like, hey, are you okay with this remake? And of course they're gonna probably sign off on it, probably because it gets some more money and whatnot, because at the end of the day they don't really care how it's handled as long as it gets them any amount of extra revenue.
But when it doesn't, it's just a floundering attempt to show what was good and unique and cash in on someone else's creation. Let's give it bright, saturated animation to the point where kids get a corneal ulcer. Why not?
What, are you literally just now like that one fucking guy, what was his name, fucking Andy Pants Gaming or something like that, where you get pissed off over bright colors? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. This is the level that we're currently going at. Like, sure, I'm not really a big fan of oversaturated colors and shit like that either, but that's purely because of the fact that I like to have the ability to fucking see.
Kids like colors, right? I feel like everything I'm saying only relates to reboots post-2010, because prior to that, most reiterations weren't like this. Most were better than the originals, and actually kept gritty tones with cool brooding art style.
Yeah, another fun fact, mostly about the Ben 10 footage that he's using. Apparently this Ben 10 footage is literally like, you know, not really like a spin-off or a reboot or anything along those lines. It's actually a continuation of a previously ongoing story, just with a brand new art style and brand new, like, story direction and whatnot, if I remember correctly. That's at least from the research that I've at least done. You can feel free to actually correct me in the comments.
Let's make all the characters flanderized and dumb while we're at it. Kids connect to dumb people more, right? It also gives us a cheap way of actually creating humor. Stupid people are funny.
Why, yes, stupid people are in fact funny. That's why we're currently making fun of you.
Go back to square one while ignoring all the story arcs that preceded them, with a cheap-looking animation style and much shallower characters. And they expect folks to be all on board and excited when they announce one.
In terms of everything that you just stated right there, especially for talking about reboots and whatnot, yeah, that's kind of how a reboot functions. because they're starting over from fucking square one and they have to redo all of the character development.
And look, I've made a whole different video explaining how being more mature or focused on story doesn't necessarily make a show better. That video gives a lot more nuance than I'm frankly giving here.
Once again, please for the love of God remain consistent with your fucking art style. Holy shit, this is throwing me off. But also, second of all, I like how within the thumbnail of that specific video, apparently Legend of Korra is one of those, you know, that you decide to use as an example of a more mature cartoon that doesn't do it very well. I really fucking wonder why, especially given what we're about to be going into.
It just makes you ask, why? Not to mention how they unnecessarily have to, all of a sudden, change everything about the show. I mean, no one wants to talk about it, but the current bandwagon is the whole race swapping thing that they'll have to do with animated characters. April O'Neil, Timmy Turner, Velma, etc.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't fucking belong! Because it's a completely new character. Holy shit. This is like the entire crux of like his entire video right here, is the fact that, you know, a new character with a completely different name, mind you. It's not even named Timmy. She's named Hazel. Which should already let you know that this is a completely different fucking character. Like, this should let you know, hey, this is a new kid that it's following. And if it wasn't already obvious enough by the fact that Timmy Turner is brought up within this fucking sequel. Like, are you just that dense?
When everything is racial, that's the only thing I can see when watching. I never saw Blade as a black character, or Cyborg, or Gerald as Static Shock.
What? How in the fuck could you not see the obviously black characters as black? Like, I get it, he's trying to play the whole, oh, I don't see race card, despite the fact that, if I remember correctly, the original Teen Titans animated series, there was literally an entire episode with Cyborg and Starfire and whatnot, talking about, like, literal fucking racism. And hell, I think there was even something about, like, Static Shock, talking about how they wanted to try and look up to black superheroes and whatnot. Hell, a lot of these characters they brought up that you supposedly don't really see as black characters, literally have themes talking about what black people regularly fucking go through. Which means that you likely know nothing about any of these fucking characters and are just bringing them up as a way to state, it almost comes across as you just kind of like trying to pull the card of, oh, I can't be racist because I like these particular characters. Like, bro, it's not gonna save you.
A lot of my favorite characters are people of various ethnicities and racial tone.
Whoa, hang on. What was that last one at that last split second? Oh, that's Uncle fucking Ruckus, a character that is commonly referred to as an Uncle Tom. And if you don't know what an Uncle Tom is, here's the definition of it. So, yeah, if one of your favorite characters just so happens to be a flaming racist, what does that say about you at this point?
The black female Timmy Turner is clearly just a cheap attempt to reboot this property without any other significant pitches for change. I mean, for the diversity folks, there must be a point where this hurts the cause more than it helps it. And this video isn't just about the new race swapping phenomenon, but it's an extremely prevalent symptom of a larger issue, which ties into the lack of respect for staying faithful to the original property. Maybe Butch Hartman wants Timmy to be race and gender swapped, which is why he has absolutely no direct involvement in the creative department of the project.
Yeah, and that's probably for the better if you literally know anything about Butch Hartman nowadays, which you either A, don't know anything about what Butch Hartman has been doing recently, or B, you do in fact know, and you actually just want it to become a fucking cesspool.
It's absolutely insulting to ruin a person's original vision of a character just because people want to see themselves on screen. These people are too uncreative to create their own original stories, so they need to ruin existing stuff to be able to call themselves inclusive and hip with the times.
So, wait, you're complaining about supposedly people not being creative enough to come up with their own original characters, and instead just race-swapping characters, but when there's an original character that just so happens to be of a different race than the original main protagonist, it's not even a race and gender swapped character, it's a completely different character, you still have a fucking problem with it.
This absolutely also hinders the story and episode quality, as the main selling point here is the obvious element that's right in front of us, but no one's allowed to acknowledge it for some reason.
I'm sorry, but how the fuck does that even make any goddamn sense? Like, the only implication that I could possibly get out of this one is that the only reason why it supposedly drags down the quality is because the main character is now black. Like, oh my fucking god, is that literally supposed to be our entire fucking point? We're just gonna end it off right here. I can't stomach any more of this fucking garbage. I think I've already done full enough coverage on my live stream about this one. But anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server down below if you feel like doing so. And yeah, anyways, guys, it's been Sandy, and have yourselves a nice day.